It's in the midst of our greatest uncertainty that God brings the greatest growth in our lives. Obstacles offer amazing opportunities if we'll hold that perspective in Jesus today as leaders. Thanks for joining me. My name is Wes. If we have not met before with LeadUpCoach, and it's my goal to offer super practical things that I'm learning that hopefully can help you guys grow as well. This principle is a really important one, I think, that looking at your problems and your obstacles as opportunities, I really believe this will help elevate your faith as you consider these two passages that the disciples went through in Scriptures. Whether you're a Christian or not today, I still think this will apply to your life, so don't tune out just yet. There's these two stories that are told through the gospel accounts, historical accounts of what happened with Jesus. In both of these stories, there's a lot of familiarity, similar circumstances, but different results. And we can see the disciples of Jesus growing in the same way that you and I need to be growing as followers and as leaders. The first story takes place in Matthew chapter 8 and in other gospel accounts as well. This is what happens. So Jesus is teaching, he's working really hard, he's healing people, all this stuff. He's probably pretty tired, and they're going to get in the boat and go to the other side of the sea. And when Jesus got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But he was asleep, and they went to him, and they woke him up, saying, "Save us, Lord, we're perishing." I don't know where you're at in your circumstances today, but sometimes it feels like God is just asleep. Well, rest assured, no pun intended, the reason he's asleep is because he's not worried. Don't mistake his lack of worry for his lack of care. God cares, but because he's sovereign, because he has control, he's not worried like you and I are. And so they woke him up and they said, "Save us, Lord, we're going to die." And he said to them, "Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?" He rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm, and the men marveled, saying, "What sort of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" You know, as a worship leader, this evokes the remembrance of the song Oceans, and we're not going to go there today, but water has always inspired great art. I think it's probably just the majesty of it. It's so big, it's hard to fathom how big the ocean is. It's so out of our control, it helps give us perspective about the rest of life that's simply out of our control. Get in the disciples' shoes for a minute and just think about the fear that they were dealing with. They literally think they're going to die in the middle of this ocean in this old boat that you can't even imagine what it's like to be in today's world. But at the end of this story, they marvel at him. They're just in amazement. So as we talk today about elevating our faith, look at the response this first time. Fear, anxiety, but then they marveled and they're like, wow, they're questioning, who is this guy? So check this out. In Matthew chapter 14, super similar story. Immediately Jesus, he made the disciples get in the boat and go before him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. He dismissed the crowds. Instead of getting in the boat, he goes up on the mountain to pray. He needed time alone to recharge with his Father. He goes up there. He's there all night, it says. And so they're going into the wind, it actually says. They're going into the wind, so they're making very painful headway, and the boat, and they're just getting beat up in this storm at sea again. So evening came. He was there alone praying. The boat was a long way from the land at this time. And in the fourth watch of the night, that's around 3 a.m., Jesus starts walking on the water and goes to see his guys. So at first they think he's a ghost, and they're totally freaking out once again. They're freaking out because the wind, the waves, the storm, and now they're seeing a ghost. You're wondering where Jesus is at? The first time he's asleep in the boat. Now he's nowhere to be found, and there's a ghost. But he calls out to them because they cry out in fear, and he says, "Take heart, it's me. Don't worry. Don't be afraid." And Peter answered him. Listen for the growth here, guys. Peter answered him, "Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Sure, come on out." So Peter got out of the boat. He walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took a hold of him, saying, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when he got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So there's an incredible shift in their faith at this point. They're elevating their faith through these obstacles that have become opportunities for growth. This is the perspective we need to have as leaders. Let me bring it around for some application and send you on your way. 3 things in which we can move like the disciples did. Remember, every obstacle is an opportunity. Here's 3 ways to move. First, we move from amazement about God into confident worshipers. In any sphere of life that you have, I believe this applies. From a curiosity, from the onset of discovering a new truth, we're curious about something, we're amazed about something even, and as we explore that, we become confident in the new truth that we've gained. Secondly, we move from observation to participation in difficult circumstances. As we begin to see our obstacles through the lens of opportunity, instead of just stepping back and saying, yeah, I guess I'm kind of along for the ride. Now I'm like, ooh, that's an opportunity. I've got to press into that to see what kind of growth, what kind of amazing thing is going to happen out of this circumstance. And finally, we move from hesitant followers to courageous leaders. This is the most important one. We're not just following along and experiencing something, but now we're the voice of calm. We're the voice of reason for every sphere of influence in our family, in our workplace, in our professional and personal lives. We've moved from a follower, from a participant, now to someone that's saying, or from an observer to a participant, and now a leader. And we're saying confidently, I know where this road goes. So it's the uncertainty over the coronavirus right now, but whatever the next thing is that we're going to be dealing with, look at your obstacle like an opportunity. And if you do that, I believe it will elevate your faith and your leadership. So God, whatever it is we're going through at this very moment, I pray that you would give us the wisdom and the step back to be able to see these obstacles as opportunities, that you would use those things to grow our leadership, that each and every one of us listening and hearing and just thinking and processing this right now, God, would be able to grow and elevate our leadership in the exact way that you have given us this obstacle to grow through right now. God, it is not pointless. It doesn't mean you caused every obstacle. It doesn't mean you don't care, but I know you have a plan for it. So elevate our leadership that we can lead up well together from the heart.